Yo, it's your boy Jacob. Tonight we're gonna do a review of Scream 7. I know most of you probably didn't expect me to even watch it, but I found a way to watch it without contributing to the franchise monetarily. I will admit I'm biased after the bullshit they put me through by stealing the subreddit I made as a fan of the series, and doing so by circumventing all of the Reddit rules to do it without any sort of prior communication with me, of which I would have been a willing participant. So I'm biased. I wanted to go into this hating the movie, but ultimately I calmed and steadied my nerves and went in neutrally with the hope that it would impress me and revigorate the love that I had for this franchise. Excuse me. Now, a little background. The franchise originally ended as a trilogy with the third movie. The first four of these movies being by the GOAT, the legend, Wes Craven. And then he passed after the fourth. But the first three were a trilogy. Keep that in mind. And then 4 came 11 years after Scream 3. And originally it was all built on, suspense, emotional characters, solid humor, and the real big kickers. They kind of tied it all in with that satirical, paradoxical, just entertaining approach of the characters are aware of horror movie tropes. And I think that's what really gave the series and the initial first Scream its edge. But the intro of the first movie too is just legendary. Legendary. It feels like, I stutter when I say this because it hurts to even say it, but it feels like after Wes died that the franchise made a giant shift towards nostalgia prevention and prioritizing the ability to have continuity and content to deliver over giving us a humorous critique on modern day horror movie culture. I guess I don't know how else to put that. There's really nothing else I could say. I've always enjoyed the metacultural commentary throughout the entire franchise. I think that's enjoyable even in Scream 7, and we'll get to that. But it doesn't have the same heart and soul that it once did. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just my opinion. Now, I will go into what I liked about this. I enjoyed that Sydney and Gail were back. I even enjoyed that Stu found a way to come back, which, spoiler warning, there's going to be spoilers throughout all of this. I'll make sure the title even says that. But yeah, it was great how Stu returned in the way that he did. I'm sure Mr. Matt Lillard had a blast recording even just those small scenes, and that was really cool. I also really enjoyed Tatum as a character. I thought and do still think that exploring more of her character could be a really cool way to make another movie. Maybe I shouldn't give them ideas. And then I will say I really enjoyed McKenna Grace's death scene. I thought that was just really funny, but it unfolded exactly how I predicted, which was satisfying. Although I wish her character was just maybe flushed out just a little bit more, so I felt more when it happened for how much work they put into that scene. Excuse me, I got a really dry throat. Now, the main problem with the plot, and if you see me looking over constantly, it's because I have notes here. The main problem with the plot, it's just extremely predictable. for the most part, in 2026, most horror movie tropes are overplayed and well known. You can only mix it up so many ways before you start having to rely on like really solid original IP to deliver stories that are just very unique, which I do think other series have done so. For instance, like I really enjoyed The Substance. I thought that was crazy. I thought that was unique. That was pretty modern. Smile, I actually enjoyed more than I thought I would. The initial premise of that I thought was really cheesy, but I really liked it. What else is there? There's so much. I'm just trying to think. What else is there? Terrifier, dare I say it, is somehow maybe one of the most extreme slashers there is in modern day, but they found a way to stand out. So the point is that while part of the charm of the Scream series is it's stereotypical and cliche, it was almost too much so in this one, to the point of where I predicted every little thing, even the twist. That's just not fun. It's really just not fun. I want to be on the edge of my seat. I want to have to keep guessing every turn. And I ultimately don't want to even have an inkling of who might be killed and who might be safe. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be predictable. I guess that's all I'm saying. I could have worded that a lot more shortly, concisely. And ultimately, I felt like the Stu survival subplot had its own potential, but they just went safe with the plot of this movie. I saw some people on Reddit bring up some really cool ideas where there could have been like a Stu cult that would have also justified having multiple Ghostfaces and justified the AI use for bringing Stu back. And I just wanted to give a shout out to all those Redditors that brought that up. Great idea. I'm not taking credit for that. I just think it's great. I do think the AI storyline could have been more terrifying. I think the way they used it by showing all the favorite characters throughout the years was stupidly predictable. I liked it. I think it was great. You know, I love going down a stroll on memory lane like the rest of us, but I don't know, maybe the franchise is just getting too old. I'm trying to think here, what's another issue? The panic room kind of pissed me off. What's the point in having a panic room if you're not going to use it? You'd think since some ghost-faced nut job tries to kill Sid every half a decade or so, she'd have really thought this through more. I mean, the secondary exit to the panic room behind the wall just pissed me off. You know, this isn't your first rodeo, girl. Why don't you have like reinforced paneling in the walls? You know, some sheets of metal. Surely, if you have the finances and a husband that's in the force that would maybe know a guy that you could find the right contractor to get this done, and have the education and knowledge to have foreseen these types of issues. Just felt so lame to me. I hate when movies do that. Oh, the character's all prepped up, except for this one gaping hole in their logic. Like, I get it. We're always going to have people tripping on nothing in the woods, and this is basically their version of that. Sure. Another issue is I feel like we're going down the Fast and Furious route of character development or should I say invincibility, plot armor. I don't know. Fast and Furious, it started as a car culture movie, bunch of homies doing heist over the roads, nothing crazy, and it ends with them being like international spies. Okay, cool, but they're certainly not what they used to be. They're far from it. Great. Well, in the first movie, it was pretty grounded in the deaths and everything. But now we got, I believe, Tatum shooting Ghostface through the wall in the coffee shop, which is like maybe what, 8 inches of thickness, so nearly point blank multiple times. And maybe I'm misremembering, but there didn't really seem to be any clear explanation for how Ghosty survived getting Meg dumped. Come on, give me something. Give me a little flash of body armor under the outfit when he's on the ground. You know what I mean? Just something. Throw me a bone, bro. But I really don't recall anything. Maybe I'm misremembering. Please tell me I am. But I don't recall anything. And then even throughout the movie with like the father, it's just like, how are you just getting the shit beat out of you? Same with like even Gale and Sid throughout the whole franchise. You guys are getting the shit beat out of you. You're coming back. You're looking just fine. No real serious injuries, but maybe a scar or two. And it's just, give me some damage, man. Feels like Stranger Things here. They're afraid to really hurt the main cast. And I'm not going to say they haven't. They have. But there could just be more. I would appreciate more. I'd appreciate a little bit more realism with my horror comedies. I don't know. I like grounded in reality, not spectacle for show. What else is there? I actually have the movie on in the background right now. I don't know if I should say that. Obviously, it's on mute. The killers and their motives, big spoilers here, but the motive itself seemed like a super meta critique at people who were mad Sydney wasn't in the last movie. Okay, that is kind of funny. I'll get it. But I liked it that the killers usually were like related to Sydney or had like a hardcore tie in to the events of the first movie or something. And this was like just a bratty asshole, assuming you've watched the movie, neighbor, and it just didn't hold water to me. Like she killed her own kid, and all she gave us was, he reminded me too much of his father. Like, I get she's verifiably cuckoo at that point, so that the directors, whatever, writers, whatever, just kind of expect us just to be okay with that as a reason. But frankly, it seems lazy. I'm sorry. I would rather have had the kid be in on it, or they then dive into like the kid's psyche of like being raised in a household of Sydney stalkers, kind of akin to the cult idea the Redditors had, something like that. I don't know. It was lackluster. I mean, and then Marco's background and suddenly just getting into AI, like, okay, I guess. It's mighty convenient. I will say shout out to you, Jessica. You killed your abusive husband. Maybe I shouldn't make light of that. Probably not. Girl boss. But where else was I going with this? I don't know. I think Jessica was trying to like turn Tatum into like the new Gen Sydney. Sure, I get it. But like at the same time, isn't she already in her own way being raised by Sydney? Like, Sydney doesn't need to die for that. And she felt like Sydney was like abandoning her final girl ways by not being in New York. I guess. Again, definitely meta commentary about the disgruntled fans from the last movie. Sure. But for those of us that were actually kind of just still along for the ride, it just felt weak. I don't know. Overall, I did laugh throughout the movie. I was enjoying it. It's fun, good escape from reality. We all know that's a little bit needed right now. But it felt safe and it felt lackluster, and ultimately it felt like it relied on nostalgia bait too much. Like, remember these guys? Remember Sydney? Remember Sydney? Remember Gail? Gail. You know, just shoving our favorites in our face over and over. I want to see a franchise evolve, pass the torch, and stay alive. Like fuck it, kill Sydney, do her in. I would welcome that more than what happened in this movie. Just do her in. Do a real upset, man. Do something scary. Do something unexpected. Because after 7 movies, after doing this for decades, you're gonna have to bring something new to the table, or you might as well call it quits and just admit that you're making movies so you don't lose like copyrights and trademarks and whatever. You know, at some point, that's all you're gonna be doing. But you know what? That's all just my opinion, man. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm curious into the opinions of all my followers here. If you don't like the movie, why? If you like the movie, why not? Do you agree with some of my criticisms and ideas? Why or why not? Do you have your own? I want to hear them. Should we keep making movies? Should the Scream franchise keep going on or not? Should we call it quits? Do we need more in terms of material to pull from and parody and satire in the horror genre as a whole before we really start making more? I mean, I'll word it this way. I think the new Scary Movie has their work cut out for them, and based on their trailer and my reaction to that, see a previous video, had to plug myself there. I think they've almost done a better job at continuing their franchise than Scream. Dare I say it. And I think both have a burden. Both have been around the block many times. And both have switched hands. So they are fairly similar and pretty good in comparison. I mean, should I go there? I almost want to say I like the new Halloween movies more than I like this. That might be too controversial. Let me know what you think. I don't think there's anything else I need to add. Don't be mad at me if you watch this without realizing there's going to be a bunch of spoilers. I just want you to know. But I think we did a good job addressing it. I almost want to pull up the coffee shop scene just to be certain there was no body armor. Because that just, oh man, that upsets me. Oh, wait, yep, here it is. Bear with me. If you want, you can turn off the video now. Whatever. But I'm just going to pull this up here. It's loading very slowly. Yeah, you know what? Some of the Gale Weather subplots in this movie, too, were just a little lame. Okay, we're at the coffee shop. Again, major spoilers if you haven't seen it, but if you don't care, hey, no worries. Hopefully I'm not mixing up my scenes. I don't think I am, but we gotta get there. Oh, man, that death was lame too. You know what? That's another point I want to bring up. Some of the deaths were really lame. I did like the coffee shop one where he's got the water coming out of his mouth. I don't know if I'm going to find this in a timely enough manner to where I don't feel bad about it. Hopefully I am remembering the right scene. Yep, we got Sydney on her phone. I'm getting there. It's farther in than I thought. I believe she's in the back of the coffee shop. I believe. I could be wrong. She's opening the safe, pulling out the glicky. It's on the other side of the wall. Is that a coffee shop or just their house? I'm pretty sure it's the shop, right? She's aiming it. He's walking around the corner. Pop, 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 pop. There's at least 1, 2, 2. Yeah, she like dumped 7 shots right into him through the wall. He's on the ground. She walks out. Oh, I forgot this little part too. Oh my gosh. Oh, it gets worse, guys. It gets worse. Again, I wish I could watch this with you. Obviously, I can't. That's it. I just can't, obviously. But then he gets up and grabs the barrel of the gun. Bro, you just got shot 7 times in close proximity. Even through some drywall. It's going to hurt. Even if you do have body armor. It's going to hurt. But they don't show us any body armor. It just pulls me out of the realism and out of the scene. I don't know. Maybe I'm a hater. But I want to make it clear. I'm a multifaceted and nuanced hater. I went into this neutrally with high hopes. I certainly don't think it's a bad movie. I just think they missed many of their targets, and this could have been a better movie. And you know what? One final thing, but justice for Melissa Barrera. I don't think it was right that she was let go after her post. I think all it did was fan the fire surrounding that complex situation, but the things she said were not wrong, not anti-Semitic, and within her right. And I think that truly tainted this series, this franchise from this point on, from that point on when that actually happened. So, the way I see it, we can split hairs, but Scream's a trilogy, and that's all it will be to me. They killed that new arc after 5. 4 was its own little thing, and I'll include it just because Wes was on it. But it's truly just a trilogy. And if you didn't like how 3 was, I mean, that's kind of why I feel like they gave us 4 in a lot of ways, because, you know, even back when 3 went down, you could find your own group of people that also felt the way I feel now, which is it's overrun its stay and it's become the very thing it once set out to make fun of. But I think it's definitely obvious with 7. I think it's definitely obvious with 7. But let me know what you think. I'll let you go. It's been 25 minutes. Peace, and like, share, sub. Actually, suggest other movies for me to review and do some dives into and give my opinions about. I'm happy to take your suggestions and comment about them if you got any. I'll watch anything. Comment below. Peace.